Other than presidential elections, Georgia voters will be deciding if the state government will intervene and correct failing schools. But is the wording of Amendment 1 confusing some voters?
Yeah, I feel like the wording of the ballot measure is actually intentionally deceptive.
Voting yes on the measure will allow state legislators to correct chronically failing schools, while voting no will allow school boards and districts to continue and maintain supervising schools.
A lot of the supporters of this attempt are commercial and corporate enterprises that would be actually able to make money off of this attempt to change the schools.
Educators such as Dr. Beck feel as if there are other ways to correct failing schools without giving complete control to state government.
A lot of our students come to schools without their basic needs met. Now, if you go back to Maslow's hierarchy, you got to have food, you got to have shelter, you got to have water, those kinds of things. You got to have love. And there are a lot of kids coming to schools in all across the state who don't have those things when they show up in the classroom, and teachers are busy compensating for that.
If approved, the amendment would allow Senate Bill 133 to go in effect, and schools will be managed by the Opportunity School District and will be shared with the local Board of Education.
You can't just change that dynamic by suddenly wiping clean the slate and bringing in a whole bunch of new administrators and teachers. The needs of the kids are still going to be there.
According to ballotpedia.org, in addition to new management, most failing schools will be transformed into charter schools.
There have been similar efforts. In fact, this one was inspired to some extent by a program that was implemented in Louisiana during the Hurricane Katrina recovery. And one of the important things to note is they've gotten rid of it. Most of the time, when it's a top-down proposal like this, there's going to be a few success stories and a lot more stories where things really don't improve and oftentimes get a little worse. We can anticipate that if this goes forward, we're going to see a lot of these schools transformed into charter programs. And yes, there are some successes in the charter school movement. But on average, charter schools are not doing any better than your average public schools.
The Opportunity School District will also have the power to close schools as an intervention of last resort.
The increased involvement of politicians in education in Georgia just has not solved the issues. And I think Governor Deal's attempt here is only going to magnify that.